As my mama would say, I got sweat going everywhere.
We all love you, Sharon. And Joe.
If you need to move up in a shady area or somewhere, you get with it, 'cause I don't want you to be burning up, about to pass out. I prayed for the Lord to help me with this.
He will.
And he will.
I always get this task, don't I? For some reason, I always get this task. Sweet daughter of mine, for your smiles and for your tears, for your skinned knees and all of your broken hearts, for the love you give and for the love you find, for whatever you become or don't. It is far too late. Ooh, I already loved you long before I ever met you. That was Mama. Mama said it's always better to have loved and lost than to never have loved.
Amen.
She always told us, I don't really want to get to the end of my life and have just lived the length of it. When Cindy and me were growing up, she said, we were living wide, we were living big. It wasn't the length, it was the in-between. How do I begin to tell a story today? It's taken me 55 years to write this story. Our journey, mine and Mama's beautiful road traveled together. From the first time I remember you, Mama, I loved you. Oh. As a little girl, I saw her beautiful dark skin and her naturally curly hair. She had the bluest eyes. They were like precious gems to me. And a smile when she looked at me that always said, oh, I love you, Sharon. Oh, Mama, you were so beautiful to me. Growing up with Mama, she did not let Cindy and I go without one thing. Steve spoke of it earlier, and Mommy would work and then cut wood and then be in the fields. That allowed us to dance at Miss Donna's. Tap, jazz, and ballet. We had such beautiful costumes and recitals. That allowed us to take swim lessons at Subtle Swim Club. And between her and my Aunt Eleanor, driving every other week on Saturdays back and forth on Saturday mornings, it would be bitter cold on us sitting on the side of the pool. All four of us, believe it or not, Audrey, Cindy, Steve, and I, we all learned how to swim. Because we had mamas that wanted us to learn how to swim. Her working and giving gave us the opportunity to take piano lessons for years. Until Mama found out that I was skipping my lessons and sitting on the curb smoking cigarettes. Mama even let me take drum lessons. Now, I was in 4th grade. I don't even know really what I was thinking. But I wanted to play the drums. Daddy remembers this well. So needless to say, she got me some private lessons. And believe it or not, years later, I went on to become one of the first girls playing a snare drum on an all-boys drum line. Funny, yeah. She took us everywhere with us. One of our favorite things to do was go to the grocery store once a month when I was little. And we went to the grocery store once a month because that was payday. I didn't know it back then. That's why we went. But she'd let me get my favorite cereal. Remember that, Daddy? I'd be so excited I'd get my Apple Jacks. And I'd get some Coca-Colas. And Cindy would get her Rice Krispies and Raisin Bran. She was even a health freak little. But we'd always get vanilla wafers and chocolate chips. Remember, Daddy? She'd let us all come home. And in the morning, we could dip our cookies in our coffee. At breakfast time, couldn't we, Daddy? It was a wonderful, tasty treat for us. But after our grocery store adventure, we'd come home, we'd show Daddy everything we had got, and she'd start putting up everything, and she'd pull out a big pack of hamburger meat. And she could make a couple meatloaves, patty out a bunch of hamburgers, and then put us on a big pot of spaghetti sauce. Remember, Daddy? That was our Saturday night wonderful special spaghetti sauce. That was a highlight for us. And on those Saturday nights, what would we get to do, Daddy? We could go to the den, and we could eat our dinner while watching Lawrence Welk, couldn't we? Afterwards, though, the show would go off when we'd go to the kitchen and we'd clean up everything, wouldn't we, Daddy? Because Mom'd be done worked so hard. And Mom and Daddy would dance around on that black and white tile kitchen floor in our kitchen. Anybody that was in our house when I was growing up, the kitchen had black and white tile in it. And they'd play and fun around with each other with the dish rag. Trying to get each other wet and popping each other. They'd run around laughing and loving on each other so much. And before you know it, all four of us were in that kitchen just laughing and loving. We ate a lot of stuff that Mama liked, or what I thought she liked back then. A lot of beans, whiteys, pintos, and a lot of potatoes. Baked potatoes, boiled potatoes, mashed potatoes, cheese potatoes. I didn't get it till I was bigger, but beans and potatoes, you could feed us a lot, and it'd go a long way. She taught Cindy and me how to look the beans. I thought that was fantastic. We'd pull the little gravels out. I can't remember a time in life that my mom and daddy did not play. They always played. They worked terribly hard, but they always played. And they always kissed, and they always hugged, and they always held hands. When I was growing up, my daddy would refer to my mama as Dusty, and I thought that was the most beautiful name he could call her, and I loved call Dusty. And my mama would call you what? Jody Blonde. Such an outpouring of love. It couldn't help but spill over on Cindy and me. We didn't know any different. We kissed, loved, hugged, squeezed. It was because of Mom and Daddy's great love. Cindy and I always had beautiful things. We had special celebrations for our birthdays. Mama made our favorite cakes. Mine was the banana cake. She had got the recipe from Granny, layered with bananas in it and a bunch of sugary sweet dribblings all over it, just so. In a day, it was might near black. So you had to eat it all in one day. It was so delicious. I feel like I could taste it now. We had the Easter bunny and we dyed dozens of eggs. And we would take Easter baskets to Granny and Pawpaw. And we would take Easter baskets to Grandma and Granddaddy. And we always had Santa Claus. We had big, big Christmases. And Cindy and I had separate sides on the den. I was on the right side of the fireplace and she was on the left. We didn't share our side with nobody until we got married. And then we didn't realize what marriage meant because we had to share our Santa Claus sides with our husbands. My mother always said I didn't lose 2 daughters, I gained 2 sons, and that's what she meant, always, no matter which son it was, in which order. She supported and helped us in everything that we did. We went on vacations to the beach, and then when we got older and Mommy and Daddy got more and more money, we could go and stay longer. When we were little, we would stay at the Francis and Noble Motel, and we just thought that was just the bomb. Mama would wear a little sunsuit that had been made for her with little polka dots on it, and I thought she was the most beautiful thing in the world out there on that beach. And then we got a little bit more money, and we could stay a week. Then they made a little bit more money, and we finally got to be in a beach house. It was amazing. She saw fit for Cindy and I to both go to college and pay for it in full. She saw fit for Cindy and I to have lavish weddings and lavish trips all over the United States and paid for them in full. She helped both of us get started on our own, whether it was secretively by leaving groceries on our porches so I could survive, or money going into my checking account, maybe $20. But back then, that was like, hello, Jesus, thank you. I needed that gas money. As a big girl, I realized all the things she did give up so Cindy and I could have everything. Everything. She was such a sacrificial lamb for us. And she never, ever once uttered a word. We never knew. And I have to tell you, my mama really didn't like a lot of beans and potatoes. What she really liked was pizza, hot dogs all the way, and Krispy Kreme donuts. Not to mention going to the fish camp on a Friday night. She worked so hard to save and put away everything so we wouldn't have to. Years and years ago, when Cindy did her dissertation, she dedicated in her dissertation a dedication to Mom and Daddy. And in that dedication, I read this for Cindy when she left. Mama and Daddy, you have given me wings to fly. And that they did. But a lot of times for me, Mama was my wings. But I have to tell you, once we got grown up and we got our wings and we were doing really, really good, Mama and us girls and Daddy traveled the world over. Yes, Daddy? I'm just going to run through a couple of them. Some of these girls here in the crowd know because they've been there. She's ate kraut in Vienna, Germany, pretzels in Austria, taken gondolas to the Alps and Lake Lucerne and blown the big horns. She sang in pubs in Ireland with Daddy, and she's drank a lot of Irish coffees. She kissed the Blarney Stone in Killarney, backwards, her and Cindy. She walked the horrific concentration camps and sang and danced to the sound of music in Salzburg. She laid on the beaches like a goddess with her clothes on both the French and Italian Riviera, because if you've ever been there, pretty much topless. She walked the hills into Aes from Nice. She saw the hidden ruins of Pompeii. You reliving all this, Daddy? She was in awe of the ruins of Rome. And she leaned while looking at the Tower of Pisa. She enjoyed gelato in the spas in Montecatini, did she not, Daddy? She bought fine leathers in Florence. She saw the Big Ben, London Bridge, and all the crown jewels. She drank coffees in cafes and bought perfumes at Fragnard in Paris. She went sailing on the gondolas in Venice. She walked the steps of Montmartre. Sylvia, remember? She walked the streets to the Arc de Triomphe. She saw the beautiful works of Monet and Musée d'Orsay, not to mention the Mona Lisa in the Louvre. She sat and gazed in utter amazement at the Sistine Chapel. David, the creation of Adam, Moses, Saint Chapelle, the Pieta, and all of Michelangelo's works, including his Last Judgment. And last but not least, atop the Eiffel Tower, she ate a 7-course meal. And then we went on to the very top, and she saw all of beautiful Paris. Our happy times, all the memories, all the beautiful memories we made. My mother sacrificed that for us. And my beautiful mother, strong and amazing as she was broken and shattered into pieces with the death of Cindy and the baby. On Monday, the 5th, that was a bittersweet day for Daddy and me. We wanted Mama to stay so much. We told her we did. Then we told her we'd be all right. Me and Daddy's okay. But we knew she was running. She was running to send in that baby girl as hard as she could. You know those broken pieces that were shattered? They were all coming back into pieces, all into place. She was seeing that beautiful, beautiful picture that she hadn't been allowed to see. She hadn't been allowed to see it for 12 years. What a beautiful, amazing sight it must have been to her. And yes, she wept because she was leaving Daddy and me. But she was running to Cindy and the baby. And we know Cindy had her hand. She took her right with her. And today, I have to tell you why today is so special, and we had to do it today. Today is our baby girl McAllister's birthday. We know that Mama ran to her because they're having a huge birthday celebration that she has longed for 12 years. How how lucky for Daddy and I to have had something so precious and so priceless to us that it makes saying goodbye so hard. Daddy. Oh, Daddy. Mama loves you so much, Daddy. I can't imagine the amazing love affair y'all had. I can't imagine, Daddy. It was extraordinary. Just extraordinary. I thank y'all for letting me tell you about my mama. I know there's people here that might have something to say about my mama.